This setup is definitely not ideal. Like, I was gonna sit there, but as you can see, Albie's claimed it. Thanks, Albs. Welcome back to a conversation with Erin, with me, Erin. This is our safe space to have a conversation about everything, anything, all in between, with no judgment. Not gonna lie, I don't have much to catch you up on this week. However, this morning, me and Albie had one of the most traumatic dog walks I've ever experienced. I'm very much aware dogs' ways of communicating is barking. Sometimes it's excitement, sometimes it's fear, sometimes it's aggression. I think since having Albie, who's a very anxious dog and does bark sometimes at other dogs out of fear, most of the time, like 90% of the time, he's really friendly with other dogs. Well, he doesn't really care about other dogs, but there's a small 10% of the time where he will see a dog and start barking because he's scared of it. Now, it does look and sound scary, but we're always in control of the situation. So because of that, I'm very much aware of the fact that dogs play fighting, barking and stuff looks a lot more scary to us than to them what it would be like. However, oh my god, it was horrible. So this dog, we were walking down a lane, it was just me and him, and from a little cul-de-sac this dog come out. It was this little white Jack Russell and it had its lead in its mouth, and it felt like this must have only happened over a minute and a half. This felt like half an hour, honestly. In slow motion I see it clock onto Albie and I'm like, for fuck's sake, I'm like, it's gonna go for Albie. And sure enough, he went for Albie. Like, I don't know how we didn't bite Albie's legs. Honestly, I don't. So I've got Albie on the lead. I can lift Albie when he's like stationary. He's a big dog. He's like 12 kilos, I think. Sorry if I'm doing you an injustice there, Albie. He's a big dog. Like, he's not massive, but I'm a 5'2.5", I say I'm 3 human being. So he's a big dog for me to pick up in that sort of situation. And if I had him, like, this is the thoughts that was going on in my head, right? If I pick him up, I can get him up, but then I'm not sure I can keep him. And I'm also not tall enough or strong enough to keep hold of him whilst potentially kicking this dog away if it starts jumping up at us. The electricity went out. Are we back, Albie? Do you want to tell your story? Yeah? It was scary, wasn't it? Lay down, you can lay down on me if you want. Okay, yeah, there we go. Jesus Christ. So we're telling our story. In slow motion, this dog clocks onto Albie and just goes for him. So I've decided that it's not going to be safe for either of us for me to pick him up. Even though it's a little dog, obviously Albie's a bit of... You're a numpty, aren't you? Like, just look at that face. That's not the face for fighter. So I was scared, and at this point the owner hadn't appeared. I'm trying to pull Albie out the way, but also bring him in close to me and get in between him and this dog. But the dog's, because it's little, it almost makes it more difficult. And then the owner arrives. The owner's trying to grab the dog, but it's got nothing to grab onto. So, like, Albie has both a collar and a harness on, so there's always something that we can grab of his if his lead breaks or whatever happens. This dog had nothing. So the owner's trying to grab it. I'm trying to drag Albie out this way. This dog's getting more and more wound up. He's getting more scared. The owner then boots the dog to grab it, which is not nice to see, and in any circumstance I do not agree with harming an animal. However, in my opinion, if that's the only way of getting your dog under control and keeping my dog safe, do whatever you need to do. But he still hasn't grabbed the dog at this point. So he's booted it, got it onto the floor, and then threw it to further away at the end of the lane. I've quickly walked along with him, but I'm still watching because I don't want our backs to be turned, walking away, and then the dog comes after us again. If you can hear licking, it's because he licks my hands for comfort. So I've then turned around and we're watching, and the collar is just too... okay. The collar is just... You're right, Albs. The collar's just too loose for the dog, so he slips out again. So the owner grabs him by the neck, pins him to the floor, and then hits him. This dog's now cowering, and this owner's kneeled over the dog again with him pinned on the floor. And I've shouted at him. I don't know what got into me, but one thing I won't stand for, it's animals being harmed. It really, even thinking about it makes me want to cry. Again, he's cried over him, so I shout him. I go, bearing in mind it's just me and this man in this lane, like, it wasn't safe, and he's not shown himself as a protective dog at this point. I shout at the man, I go, you don't need to hurt him, that's not going to do anything. Okay, all right, Miss Baker. And he shouts back and he says, yeah, but he does it all the time. Now, this is the point I'm telling this story. If he does it all the time, get him on a stronger lead, a stronger harness, a stronger collar. The Just Canine harnesses we use for him, and they're incredible. I struggle with seeing dogs on collar and lead. I don't like it when it chokes them. However, you do you, like, whatever is best for you and your dog, but that's clearly not best because your dog's escaping. It was just, honestly, like, we've had he's had arguments with other dogs in the park, and I've had irresponsible owners. Thank you. But nothing like that. It was horrific. And I think the thing that made it worse was seeing him hit the animal. Oh my, what are you doing? You're so silly. You're so silly. So it was just really not very nice. Fortunately, he's not been affected by it. This is just his normal behaviour. You were fine afterwards, wasn't you? You're really panting. He's not even hot. He just pants for attention. So it just really wasn't nice. Like, please, not all dogs are friendly. You can't expect all dogs to be friendly. But if your dog is reactive, he can be reactive. Understand their behaviour, learn their behaviour. That was a dangerous situation for the dog, for me, for him. It just wasn't very nice. And, you know, I only said something to the owner because he hit the dog. Otherwise, he apologised to me in the process, and I said it's it's fine, because at the end of the day, me getting angry at him or his dog is not going to do anything for anybody. I don't know, but I just wanted to show you my little bit of trauma that I had this morning. Do you know what I have been watching at the minute? The Summer I Turned Pretty. Now, I've got one more episode to go. I am obsessed, but I have to have the right setting to watch it, especially this last episode, because I know for a fact I will cry. And I've been really in my head debating, am I Team Conrad or am I Team Jeremiah? I think I am Team Conrad because I think he's got a lot of depth. I found Jeremiah to be very, like, emotionally manipulative, and I don't think people are seeing this, but I've been seeing this. Like, he's very jealous and protective, but not in, like, a nice way, in an emotionally manipulative way. And I think Conrad, even though he comes across very, oh my god, I'm talking like these are real people. Even though Conrad comes across as very, like, intense and emotionally unavailable, I think it's because he thinks he's doing the best thing for everybody, and he's trying to protect everybody, so he hurts himself to protect other people. Oh, they're both very attractive. However, there's, I think, a lot more chemistry, like, between Jeremiah and Belly. Like, if you compare the fireplace scene to the scene I've seen on TikTok, which I haven't actually seen in the series yet because I haven't watched the last episode. But if you compare it to that kiss scene that everybody's talking about with the hand positioning and stuff like that, we don't need to go into it. But you know what I'm talking about. There's a lot more like intense chemistry between Jeremiah and Belly than there is at the fireplace scene. But then I also think that it's a different sort of, that I guess there's more intimacy between Conrad and Belly. Anyone can be a good kisser. It doesn't mean that there's any intimate like connection, like soul connection. That's what I'm looking for. But anyway, I'm very much like not on the fence but also on the fence, because I think I am team Conrad. However, Gavin, who plays Jeremiah, is so beautiful. But then so is it Chris, who plays Conrad? They're both really beautiful men. Just they're very different. But I am thinking I'm team Conrad, and I hope that Jenny Ham brings it back for season 3, because otherwise they'll be sad. But also, like, what does Belly have that I don't? No, I'm joking. Lola Tongue is gorgeous, but Belly annoys me. Like, the character annoys me a little bit, and they did her dirty this season. Like, I know she's supposed to look bad because she's under a lot of stress, but their makeup is horrific, and I think it's done deliberately, but it's still not great. But anyway, I'd love to know if you're team Conrad or team Jeremiah, because I'm very much on the team Conrad side of social media, but I don't know if team Jeremiah is also a thing. So today's topic, I'll be honest, this has been stolen from Miss Emanil. It's because I really loved the concept of it. I found myself listening along to it and having a conversation in my head about what mine would be. So I thought, why don't I share this with you guys and potentially facilitate that conversation within yourself? But we are going to be speaking about non-negotiables. I just want to quickly interrupt this podcast. I know it's very annoying when people do this, I'm sorry, but if you haven't already, make sure you follow on Spotify or subscribe to the YouTube channel. 90% of you actually haven't subscribed, so that would be absolutely amazing. There is a new episode every week, most of the time on Friday, but if it's not on Friday, it will be on Saturday, and there's sometimes a little midweek bonus, but you can only get that on Spotify, so it's also good to follow along on Spotify. And if you are watching on Spotify, if you want to rate, that would be absolutely amazing. Ideally 5 stars. Yeah, I went on my Spotify the other day and I've got like, I think I got 4 5-star ratings. So that's amazing. I'm really, really appreciative of that. And obviously the comment boxes are always open. For me, non-negotiables are for any relationship I have. They're not just a boyfriend relationship. It can be friends, family. I'm getting very good at cutting people out. Well, that's not a great thing, but I am getting good at cutting people out and boundarying myself and keeping my circle small. I've protected my peace a little bit too much. Like, my circle consists of literally, I can count the people on 2 hands. However, and that's including family. However, it does mean that my standards are high. I think I've really tried to implement that because I've been known to give more than I receive. Sometimes, not all the time, but I'm a very, not give more than I receive, that's wrong, but I'm a very giving person in relationships, and sometimes I would give so much of myself and I would receive nothing back of the other person, and it would send me in a hole. And I'm an empath. I'm extremely spiritual. I am a sponge. I will soak up whatever energy you're giving off, which is another reason why I need to boundary myself, because I need to protect my peace. These are my non-negotiables that I've come up with to keep myself safe in my own little bubble. First one is very, very basic. I feel like everybody that is a semi-decent human being should have it on their list, and it's be open-minded. Judgmental people make me feel physically sick, and I know that sounds very strong, but if you are judgmental, and I don't mean in like being a little bit like with your best friend with a glass of wine, being a little bit gossipy. I mean like being judgmental of somebody's life choices, thinking you're better than somebody else, being judgmental in terms of like religion, gender, being judgmental of gender non-conformity, like people not conforming to societal standards, people of different sexualities, different races, that sort of judgmental. I refuse to be associated with people like that, and I am the sort of person that will call you out, right, for saying anything remotely racist, misogynistic, homophobic, transphobic. I do not stand for it in my life. And just because, and if you have to be in my life for a certain reason, I will tolerate you. Just stop being horrible to people. Stop judging people. So even little decisions like, oh, they were a teen mum, or like, oh, they're making that life choice, and oh, they're posting that on social media. Who cares? It's not affecting you, so let's not judge, okay? Thank you. My second one is something that I think I've realised a lot more recently. I don't want to be made feel silly. No. And I've just made myself... I don't want to be made to feel silly. I very much through school was made to feel my aspirations were a bit embarrassing. I was laughed at for doing YouTube videos. I was laughed at for being very spiritual and believing in manifestation before it was cool. So, like, I remember going to sixth form and talking about manifestation, and everyone literally laughed. Well, not everyone, but quite a few people laughed in my face. And I don't like that feeling. I've spent enough of my life feeling like I'm stupid and I'm silly and my thoughts and beliefs are below you. I don't want that in relationships anymore. I don't ask anybody to believe what I believe in or want for me what I want for me. However, I ask you to respect that. And that is a massive one for me now. I think I can sometimes be a little bit too defensive. Like, I can be the butt of a joke, but if it's in good taste and if I'm in on the joke, but it's when I'm just made to feel like below people, I don't like it. There's no need. Number 3, this is like so important to me. You need to have passion. I don't mean it in like a 365 days, you know, that film, that kind of way. Passion, I mean like have something that you believe so deeply in, and you like, it's literally, you just love it. Like, you know, when somebody talks about something, either a hobby or their career or just something they're passionate about, and their whole body lights up and they just like get really excited, and especially with boys, because boys try to hide that they're excited and it makes it like even more adorable, and they're just so excited by that thing and they just want to tell you about it and share with you about it. I need people in my life to have that. I love it when people are passionate because it makes me inspired, and then hopefully that my passion can inspire you and we can inspire each other and I can feel excited about that thing with you. Like I said, I'm such a sponge, so that energy literally is like the best thing for me to be around. I absolutely love it. Genuinely, one of the best things you can ask somebody, whether that's you're on a date with them, you're actually in a relationship with them, you're friends with them, ask them, what are you passionate about? And honestly, the way that person will change is just incredible. It's the best thing to see ever. I absolutely love it. It's just such like, they just light up. It's incredible. Number 4 is being ambitious. Now, I don't want an Elon Musk. I don't want that sort of ambition. I want to take over the world ambition in my life, because ew, it's just a bit grim. However, just have a bit of get up and go. It's what me and my mum say. You need to have a bit of get up and go. Have a dream. Whether that dream is having children, whether that dream is saving lives, whether that dream is owning a company, whether that dream is having financial success or financial stability, or just owning a house or working in a shop or whatever that is. Just be a little bit ambitious, have a bit of drive, because I'm a very ambitious person. I've got very big dreams, but I don't like to be around people that aren't ambitious, because I then feed off that energy and it diminishes my ambition and what I think I'm capable of. If I'm around people that have got massive dreams and that are striving and they're working really hard, I'm more likely to be that, and I love seeing that in people. I think it's such a great quality. Like I said, it doesn't matter what it is. Really doesn't. Like, I don't need you to be rich. I don't need you to be anything that you are not. I want you to be authentic to yourself, but just have a bit of drive. Like, so say if there was a person in my life, and whether it is a friend or whether they like a boyfriend, and they had a trust fund, so they did nothing with their life but slob about, sometimes go to the shops because they had this trust fund. That's not someone I want to surround my time with, because you're not, there's nothing that's making you go, and shopping isn't ambitious in my opinion. For me, that's not things that I want in somebody in my life, in my close circle. Continuing from that, you need to be giving, and I don't mean this financially, like just financially, like giving your time, giving your energy, giving your thoughts, giving money. I don't mean to me, to others. Giving gifts, giving your physical touch in terms of like cuddles, and giving whatever your love language is, giving that and showing that. Love languages aren't just represented in relationships in terms of boyfriend and girlfriend, or girlfriend and girlfriend, or boyfriend and boyfriend. In my case, girlfriend and boyfriend. They're also representative of friendships, and even in terms of the way my mum has shown love to me, it's her love language. Same with my dad. Just be giving. And I think for me, the most precious thing in the world is giving. If somebody is very giving with thoughts and time, if somebody has shown that they thought about something that they've done for me, or even if I get a text like, oh, I saw this and I thought of you, that is so much more special to me than somebody like giving me £10. And I also think giving with other people, if I'm seeing that you're putting time and effort into other people that you care about, that's amazing, or things you care about, that's incredible. And if you are giving in terms of charities, like, that's something that's really important to me. I don't want you to be all high and mighty. And obviously, you know, there's different positions in the world. Some people don't have the money for that. I don't have the money at the moment in my life to be very, very giving to charities, and that's okay. But I give my time in other ways. I think everybody is guilty of being a bit selfish. I think I did sound a bit high and mighty then. Everyone is guilty of being a bit selfish, and I think that's so okay. Like, I'm sat here doing a podcast about how I'm boundarying myself to protect my peace. Like, some people could say that's selfish, and I think it's really important to protect your peace and be aware of that. But if you're somebody who wants to profit of other people's hardships to push yourself up, that's not the sort of person I want to be around with. And I think that's the sort of not giving mentality that I don't want to be around. Like, I've had enough relationships in my life where it's been all on their terms. I don't need any more. This next one is very hypocritical of me, but you need to care about the environment. Now, I'm not a vegan. I do eat meat. I do drink cow's milk and eat eggs. So care about the environment. Don't do as I do as I say. No, I'm joking. I don't mean that you need to be vegan. But if you're ordering off of Shein or Pretty Little Thing or Boohoo 5 times a week or even just once a week, doing big mass orders and then sending them all back, no, that's a massive ick. I'm not okay with that. Be a little bit of aware of what you're doing to the world. I just want a person that is in my life to be aware of the hardships other people face in the world, aware of world issues, be a little bit woke. You don't need to be a snowflake to be woke. I think it's, like I've said it with the open-minded, it's extremely important to me. Yeah, just make better choices. Be a bit thoughtful. Again, it's that thing, isn't it? Being thoughtful, thinking about what you're doing, being given. Number 7, positive energy. You don't need to be Mr. Happy from the Mr. Men book, okay? Because I'm not exactly always full of the joys of spring. But I cannot stand a negative Nancy. If you can find a negative in every situation, I refuse to talk to you. You bring the mood down. You're a mood hoover. You're not a fun time. Just get a grip of yourself. Things could be worse. I think I'm somebody who always can find a positive. Obviously, there are some days I suffer with mental health. Like, I'm not always happy and cheery and have got rainbows shooting out my bum. But if you can't, like, if you're like going to, there's nothing I want to eat, find something you want to eat, or my life's so tough. Okay, it might be really hard, but let's at least think of a couple of positives. Like, you've just had a bad day at work. I'm more than okay for people to express their emotions, and especially if you're suffering with mental health, I know it's not as easy as just like, I'd rather someone be honest with how they're feeling than plant on a smile. But there's a difference from being authentic to what you're feeling and just being negative. Like, I can't deal with just, that pathetic negativity where it's like, no matter what you do, you're not happy. You change jobs, you still hate the new job. Or something goes wrong and like your world's ending, or I just can't stand it. I can't stand it. There's no need. We're on a little spinning rock. There are a lot of worse things that are going on. Have a bit of more world awareness and you might actually be able to put a smile on your face at what you've got. You'll be sad about the world, but at least you'll be glad that you're not living with no food or in places of wildfires or flooding. Like, we're actually very fortunate. So positive energy that radiates off you that I can feel, I'm obsessed with. Similar to that, a victim complex. If you're a victim, I'm refusing to spend time with you. Not everything is. Some things are your fault. Some things are in your control. Just the whole victim martyr thing, I just can't deal with. Like, there's enough said on that. Like, no. I think unless of very obvious reasons, i.e. trauma, abuse, not having them and stuff, being very close to your family is important to me in both friendships and relationships. I think it says a lot about somebody who has time and respect for their family. I'm not saying my family's perfect, we're not, but my parents are like 2 of my favourite people in the world. At times I really strongly dislike them, and they will say the same about me, but also they are 2 of my best friends. We talk about everything. I tell them everything. I don't need you to be that close with your parents, but just have a bit of respect for your family. Have time for your family. I think it's a great quality. Like, somebody who, like a boy like visits his nan in a care home. Like, I love that. That's it. You lay down. That's it. Number 10 is being able to have deep conversations. I struggle with people who can't have a deep conversation. I think I also need somebody who brings out the lightheartedness in me. But yeah, like, just people who are very surface level. Like, what are you feeling? Tell me your deep secrets. Like, I'm somebody who loves a deep convo. Maybe that's a bit intimidating to people. I understand why people wouldn't like it, but you need to have a bit of depth to you. You can't just be like a pretty face or just be like a fun time. Like, have a bit of depth. Let me see your soul. Let me look in and see your soul. I guess my last non-negotiable, well, it's not a non-negotiable, but be able to look after yourself. Like, cook your own meals, or know how to cook, or do your own washing, or take some accountability for your life. I think somebody who can take accountability for themselves, that's great. That is fun. That's what we like to see. Friends or not friends. I just think if you can't, I'm just a bit like, grow up. Like, why does your mum still do everything for you? I think I potentially, as a detriment to me, lose a little bit of respect for people who just don't really take accountability for themselves or can look after themselves. Obviously, it's age dependent. Like, I'm talking about people that are like 21 and up. Like, if you're 16, enjoy being 16 while you can. Like, have everyone cook for you and clean for you. Like, great. But it gets to an age where you're like, come on now. I don't want to be looking after you as your friend or your girlfriend, you know? That is the end of the podcast. I feel like I've ended that really like abruptly. Yeah, so those are my non-negotiables. I probably do have some more in my locker. So if you do want maybe to know some more, let me know. I'd love to know your non-negotiables, because I think that would be great to add to my list. That would be really fun. So yeah, let's now move on to our 3 gratitudes and our hope for the future. So my first gratitude is that me and Albie are safe and we're okay. I'm never been so grateful to get home from a walk and be well. Like, I'm so grateful that we're both okay. Albie has been such a good boy this whole podcast. He's just laid there like a really good boy. So I'm really grateful that he's been so well behaved. The next thing I'm grateful for is my mum. The fact that she phoned me and listened to me even while she's at work. And she's also texted me and asked me if I want to go on like a little mum and daughter date with her tomorrow afternoon. So yeah, I'm really grateful for her. And my hope for the future is I have a episode tomorrow. I've got a tarot reading, my first ever tarot reading tomorrow morning. So I hope that is good. I'm a little bit apprehensive because I've only ever read my own tarot. I'm really worried I'm going to get there and they're going to read my tarot and I'm going to be like, I've been doing this wrong. And I hope that it's as good as I'm expecting. Depending on how it goes, I might do my mini episode about it. We will see. But yeah, I really hope that I've said hope a lot. Bloody hell. I hope that you enjoyed this episode. Like I said, make sure you follow, subscribe, all of that fun stuff. And I will see you again very, very soon. Goodbye.